Hey everybody, I'm Dave Lingerfelt, and I'll be your instructor for MG 6352, problem solving and root cause analysis. What I find kind of interesting about this class is every one of you at some point in your life have dealt with problem solving. So that part's nothing new, but we will spend some time kind of talking about some of the frameworks and methodologies and that sort of stuff. And then, of course, the other side of it, of course, is root cause analysis. And this is one of those things like problem solving, root cause analysis applies broadly across every industry in the free marketplace, right? At every facet, every sector of business, there's some element of root cause analysis. How I come at this is, my background is I've worked in IT, specifically healthcare IT, for my whole career, and well as done some work in data analytics. But for a significant amount of my time in the private sector, I worked for the Cerner Corporation. And I spent quite a bit of time working in their data center. And one thing we did in that space was a lot of root cause analysis. In the data center, what we did was a lot of our hardware, our infrastructure, was supporting hospitals all over the world. With healthcare being, a pretty high risk industry, our systems had to remain up at all times. So one thing that we always did in the event that a system went down unexpectedly was we would conduct a very, very thorough root cause analysis to figure out why it happened. Was there a failure of a person or persons? Was there a failure of a process? Or was it just truly a failure in infrastructure? And then kind of have this discussion of what do we do to ensure that that doesn't happen again. This was very critical in this space because, like most data center operations, even outside of healthcare, one thing we talk about a lot is what we call SLAs, or service level agreements. And this becomes important because I enter into an agreement with my client, whoever's paying for my services, to say, I promise you that this system will be up and available an agreed amount of time. And specifically, the metrics that we drove off of were what we called the three nines or the four nines. So 99.9% or 99.99% uptime. And if you back into the math on that, and you look at what you get, if I tell you in the course of a month, your system will be up 99.9% of the time. So if you dissect the math on that, you really just get, I think it's about 5-6 minutes of unexpected outage or downtime. So it becomes very important to have the problem solving on the front end, and then also in the event that it happens, a root cause analysis to figure out how this doesn't occur again, and look at that specific instance, but then spread it across the entire client population and say, okay, this is what caused it to happen. Are any of our other systems at risk with other clients? Okay. Now, the carrot and the stick to this is we sold this as, we'll give you 99.9% uptime. And oftentimes we heard, yeah, right. And then we came back and sweetened the deal and said, if we don't meet that metric, you don't pay us the full price for the month. So if you were the person responsible for a system that went down and it was a person failure, or you didn't follow process, or you didn't have proper redundancies in place, and it resulted in the organization losing money, you were, to say the least, on the hot seat. Then you move it up to the four nines, as I said, 99.99% uptime. And it really just affords you a matter of seconds every month. And when you're dealing with large, robust systems, think about how long it takes you just to reboot your personal device, your laptop or your cell phone. You can't do anything in that amount of time. So if you have any unplanned outage, you're in trouble, and you're likely refunding some money, and have a very serious root cause analysis on the back end of that. But again, we won't focus solely on IT. My examples will likely all come from IT in the classroom, just because that's my domain. As we get into the class, I encourage you all to bring your experience forward. You all come from different walks of life, and you all have different experiences. You bring stuff to the table that I don't. So we'll spend a lot of time discussing those, and I'll definitely look for your feedback. So if you haven't already, drop into the course, and I've put a discussion out there where I'm looking for some information from you, and this will help me kind of tee up kind of the flow and some of the examples that we'll use in the class. So just kind of tell me in that intro discussion who you are, tell me what your background is, and I'm giving you a free pass here to be rather verbose and rather wordy. The more I can understand about your backgrounds and your work experience, the better off we're going to be. So when you do that, I'm looking for something pretty detailed here. Okay, so do a couple things for me. So give me some intro text telling me who you are, your education, your background, your work experience, and then any experience you have with formal problem solving. Any root cause analysis experience and what sector you've done that in. Also, as we've learned with COVID, we had to rely immensely on technology to get through it. So one thing I also want you to do, even though we will meet in person, I want you to go ahead and click on your camera and record a brief video introduction. And I'm talking 90 seconds, okay? Just give me that very high level, who you are, where you come from, what you do. Okay, so hopefully that'll help us have a little more in-depth discussion. I know nobody is likely excited about a class that's on a Friday, Saturday over the summer. My commitment to you is we will move as swiftly as we possibly can to get through the course content, have valuable, engaging discussion, and get out in a reasonable time frame. And one thing that you can do to help me do that is just come to the sessions on Friday and Saturday prepared, ready to have open dialogue so we can ensure we meet those course objectives, and we'll get everybody on their way. So in the meantime, feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and otherwise I look forward to meeting you all in person in class on Friday, and I look forward to working with you.